Can I have one doing tonight? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Simon Jazz. Praise the Lord. Here you get your, some news on tonight. We're going to talk about the shooting they had in Texas school. Texas high school student, charged with murder following Davis school shooting. So one student, is dead and the other one is in custody. So he facing a murder charge after shooting outside of the high school in Texas. The high school was put on lockdown. After that, that shooting had to put the school on lockdown. So after the shooting, about a half of an hour before classes were to resume after spring break, the police say the suspect, shooting was quickly taken into custody, and that was good. That was good. They handled that quickly. A female student was wounded. So the suspect is being held at a juvenile, detention center. So all the students that was involved in the incident attended Lamar High School and they all was minor. They was all little teenagers. So the female student was hit by the gunfire and was transferred to the hospital. So the hospital, by adult near the incident, after suffering, no life-threatening injury, but according to the police, the motive behind the shooting is unknown. So it's unknown right now, in investigating. It's unknown in investigating. It's ongoing according to John, who spoke to the reporter. So the school deserves, to be safe. The school deserves to be safe. All of a sudden you got all this massive killing in these schools. Place for students. Students supposed to be safe and they're supposed to be there to learn, be focusing in learning in school. To grow every day. But then, you in school now, you don't even know what's gonna break out next. So the police department, as they conduct the investigation, he told the reporters that we need the gun owner, to step up and take responsibility. To ensure that they properly are securing their firearm, so the kids don't have access to them. And that's true. The owner of these guns, because these kids is really young. They're really young to have hold to these guns. So they're thinking about having the parents, take responsibility of the children's action. So this is another shooting in the school. We just had the university, somebody was shooting in that school. So one student is dead, one in custody. The suspect shooter was quickly taken in custody, so being held at a juvenile, detention center. So the shooting and killing should not be in the school. It should not be in the school. If we don't have nobody coming in the school shooting, now we got the student inside of the school, bringing guns to school shooting. So shooting and killing should not be in the school. All schools deserve to be safe because you got to focus to learn. You can't learn if you got to keep on wondering if somebody going to enter the school and shoot, but now you got it inside of the school shoot. So we need all guns owners, to take responsibility because young juvenile should not have hold of a gun. So all parents, make sure, all parents gonna start taking responsibility when your child have a gun and when that child use it. Because they bring the guns to school. So when you have you have a gun, a rifle, whatever at home, it have to be in a safe spot. It have to be in a box where it's locked and have to be put up high. And don't let the kids know that you have a gun in the house or where you have it. Because for some reason these kids is coming to school with these guns. So we have to try to have it safe where no one enters the school with guns and no student bring guns to school. So safety procedures. So school is where a child goes to learn, but now it's not safe. But we're gonna try to make it safe as possible. So this permanent policy will guarantee a change in the school system. I have school safety procedures. You know, so all for all across the nation. Safe procedures. For our kids. They will have security in the school and outside of the school. So one, now we will have unarmed security outside, unarmed security inside of the school. I said unarmed inside the school because they have their gun on them. And now these teenagers didn't know about pulling the trigger on guns now. So we don't want them to be pulling the jacket off the gun. So that's why inside the school should be unarmed security. They will patrol around inside the school, checking and seeing if anybody looks suspicious in the school. They're going to be checking and making sure all the doors is locked. And so too, we're going to have our own security outside, patrolling. All these, the unarmed security inside will patrol every hour. The armed security outside will do the same thing, patrol every hour around the building, making sure no one is ringing around the school looking suspicious, because inside and out we got security. So they have to come through either one of these security to get through the school. And then I want them to start, anybody coming to the school have to sign in, and they have to do that through the security. So three. Now since the student is coming into the school with guns, I request that we have a scan, a metal scan, for them to get scanned when they come to the school. That way their school bag will be checking out for guns, and we will have to do that every morning. We have to do that once they go out to school and come back into school. You never know if somebody reaching something over the fence. So every time for lunchtime or whatever the case is, we have to steal. And then when they go play outside, go to lunch, they can leave their bag inside. Because once they bring their bag out and have to come back in, you have to go through the detector metal to get scanned. So I request before they enter, the security will check their school bag, and have a metal, go through a metal scanner machine to proceed, every time they enter. So now we gotta start checking the school bags. We're gonna have to get one of the metal where they can get scanned when they go through, or we're gonna have security check every one of them bags. And so when they go out the door for lunch or break, they have to leave their bag because they're gonna get rechecked again. We have to do this because they come to school with the gun and shoot. So armed security outside, unarmed security inside. I just explained that to you. So the children are bringing guns to school, and the parents will start taking responsibility for their children's action. Because you have to make sure your guns are safe at home, where the kids won't have access to it. So all kids' school bag will get checked for guns. They will all, will go through the metal detector. They will proceed before they enter. They will have to do this every morning. So all parents, make sure your gun at home is kept in a safe box, and make sure you have a key lock. Cause on Open I had some over there. They have the box and they have the key go with it. So you have to get a box, put your gun in it, and put it away. I don't understand how these kids know exactly where they at. Hide your gun, away from the kids. So there will be a change, because I'm going to keep on creating something to try to make these kids safe. We have to make sure this don't happen again. So we have to check the school bags every morning. Okay, so that's the news on the shooting at the school. Okay, I have a word for y'all tonight. You know, we still in Bible study. And we still with now yesterday, Joshua did the farewell speech. You know, 'cause you know he done got old. So now the name of this topic gonna be buried in the promised land, and they gonna be Joshua. You know, so now Joshua, you know, the servant of the Lord. You know, he died at the age of 110 years old. Now he lived a long and prosperous life. You know, he worked under God. You know, so God allowed him to live a long time. You know, because he was a good leader. You know, he made mistakes. We all make mistakes. None of us not perfect. You know, so they buried him in the land of his inheritance. Now he had got a part of inheritance. You know, so in the hill country around north of Mount God. You know, so now we see that Joshua lived 110 years old. You know, he lived 110 years old. He lived a long and prosperous life. You know, and he was buried on the promised land. You know, so Israel served the Lord, you know, throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him. You know, so now Joshua looking for another leader because you know he gonna be gone. Well, you know he died, so he was speaking it before he died. You know, he looking on Israel. You know, he a servant of the Lord. You know, throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him and who had experienced everything the Lord had done for Israel. You know, this did have some good ones in the group. You know, making sure they was paying attention to everything. You know, so the book of Joshua, you know, is open with a new leader being handed, you know, seemed the impossible test, you know, to lead the nation, you know, and taking over the land of Canaan. You know, so they're still taking land. You know, that show you how big Canaan is. You know, by following God closely, Joshua led the people through military victory, you know, and faithfulness, spiritual obedience. You know, so the whole nation during these many years is a tribute both of Joshua's leadership and to the God that he faithfully served. You know, so now we see Joshua appointed Israel, you know, not really appointed him, but acknowledged, you know, that he worked under God. He know everything, you know, that God had, you know, helped the Israelites, helped them conquer their land. He was there who served the Lord. Now he said that he had experienced, you know, everything the Lord had done for him, for Israel. Now remember, y'all remember Joseph. Remember Joseph in Egypt. When Joseph was in Egypt, he said, when I die, make sure y'all take my body with you so I can be buried in the Canaan land. You know, so now, remember Joseph from Egypt, he said when he died to bring his body to Canaan. You know, so now Joseph's bones, you know, which the Israelite had brought up from Egypt, you know, so we're buried at Shammah in a tract of the land that Jacob, you know, it's in the land that Jacob had brought, you know, hundreds of pieces of silver. So this become the inheritance of Joseph to see, you know, so they found the spot for Joshua, and now they find a spot for Joseph, you know, and that's something all that they went through. They said had carrying Joseph's body, you know, so now Jacob and Joseph are burying Canaan, you know, so Eliezer, Aaron's son, he died, you know, and he was buried, which had been known as his son, you know, in the hill country of Abraham, you know. So this is the story, you know, of Joshua. You know, he died, and he's saying that Israel have good experience as a leader, trying to represent someone else, you know. So and so we talk about Texas school shooting. This happened like 3 days ago. You know, so they got one of the suspects, you know, in juvenile center. You know, but one day a female had got wounded. You know, and I also had give procedures. You know, procedures out. So all children, um, our own security outside. Unarmed security will be inside patrolling. Now, children are not to bring guns to school. So a parent will have to start taking responsibility when your children come to school with a gun or when they use it. So all kids' school bags will start getting checked out. Because the children is the one is bringing the guns to school now. Not trying to shoot the burglars that come in, they shoot one another in the school. So there will be a change, you know, on the school system. The school bag will start getting checked. You will go through that scanner to make sure you ain't got no knife or anything in your pocket. And so we talk about Joshua who died. We talk about Joseph that had to carry his bones all that long time. He been in Egypt for 430 years when God had rescued them out of slavery, and then they had his body for 40 years. It took them 40 years to get to the land, and just not sorting stuff out to bury Joseph. So that's all the word. And Joseph was 110 years old. Joshua was 110 years old. So that's a long, prosperous life he lived. Because he was working for God. He worked for God. He allowed to live a long time. Look at Moses, Abraham. They all lived in hundreds. They lived. There was a righteous person, and they lived a long and prosperous life. So that's all the word and the news I have for you on today. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'll see y'all on the next video.